City is still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Special beyond special.
Best player in the Premier League.
Captain Marvel. Drogba! Rooney! Oh, wonderful! That is one Derby diamond.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 43. The Premier League season is officially over. Liverpool are champions. Chelsea and City crawled their way into Champions League spots, rounded out by Arsenal and Newcastle. Disappointing ends to the seasons for United, Villa, and a host of other mid-table teams that had a chance at going up like Forest. But ultimately, a super exciting and fun season, to say the least. In this one, we will talk about the transfers that, are happening since it's been one day since the end of the season type of thing. And that's just the way that the new world works. We'll then go into the Manchester rebuilds, with City looking to become title challengers again, and ultimately get Champions League trophies and stuff like that. And then United, we're starting all the way down at rock bottom. And then we'll talk about the Champions League final to end the show. If you want to hear our thoughts on Chelsea and their season, me and Grant covered that in our last video. And it's a lot more in depth than we could go if we wanted to cram all of our craziness.
I'll find a way to stuff it a little bit into this episode. Don't you worry.
As you should. But at least we don't have to go all the way fully plunged. But yeah. Transfers. Well, it's the best time of the year. The transfer dopamine crack rush hit. I think we should start at the top because I wasn't expecting this level of aggressiveness and go get it attitude from Liverpool. I honestly thought that it was going to be like, oh, they did the thing and we'll just like kind of fuck it off again. But no, the exact opposite. They are looking likely to get the swoop on the Leverkusen boys, Wirtz and Frimpong. So one of you two take it away. I've been talking for a little bit here. So
yeah, be quiet. No. To your point, I did not see this coming. When I originally saw the Wirtz links, I thought it was similar to Watkins and Arsenal in January, where it was see guys, we tried to get Wirtz, just couldn't get him. Sorry. But just really quick, as soon as they locked up the league and their season was essentially done, they went and got some business done. Frimpong's already done. I think they're about to announce it. Wirtz looks like it's pretty much done. I'm seeing Kirkish looking also pretty close to being done. So to replace both fullbacks and get a world-class 10 in May, I think it's a sign of intent for sure. I still think they're probably going to go after a 9. Luis Diaz, I'm seeing 85 million. And next to his name, I think you take that and run if you're Liverpool. I do not know how they'd pull that off, but it's looking like they're going to get some good money for him. If you get Darwin out of there, and honestly, you can even hang on to one of him or Jota and bring in another 9. I think Ekitike is the one that they want. That's a serious team who's going to be right back to competing for the title again. So, fair play to them. I'm shocked. To your point, I didn't think they'd be this quick. Ruthless, but got some good business done. What do you guys think?
I think you nailed it. They want to go on and win these multiple titles in a row. Build a bit of a dynasty there, not just a one-and-done type of championship. It's scary. I think if they continue to keep spending like this, then they can keep continuing to challenge. But if this is a one-and-done fire sale, then they better make the moves right. Hopefully they all pan out.
Yeah, I think to your point, it's interesting tactically. 2 very attacking fullbacks. As we know, a lot of top teams like to play with a 3 in possession, 1 more defensive-minded fullback, and both of these guys, Frimpong pretty much plays as a winger. And Kirkish loves bombing up and down, but I think both of them have the work rate to be able to get up and down. I'm just intrigued tactically to see what Slot's going to do, but I think he's earned enough credit in the bank in the year he's been there to say, hey, let me get some guys and let me show you what I think we can do. So I think he's allowed to do that, but I do have a few questions defensively, but I think he's earned the right to go get the guys he wants.
Yeah, I mean, the clear upgrades, right? Like they didn't have a right back, Trent's so Frimpong is, I mean, he's been one of the best attacking fullbacks in the league, and also like Salah is not going to be there forever, and there's a chance that this guy just becomes their winger, in the slot system. So much flexibility there. Yeah,
not that expensive either. It's 35.
No, great market opportunity.
I think, yeah.
We were screaming from the me and Mila were screaming like both of our clubs could have used a player like that, and for 30 million, like should have been done a long time ago. And for Liverpool, the team that won it all, to get him, it's scary signs. And like you said, it's intent. I'm shocked at the intent to go and make those signings.
Yeah, and I've been accused of saying Liverpool don't really have pull, like they don't really bring in top level guys. But a Wirtz sign, I mean, that's as marquee as it can get in this day and age for me. I'm interested to see the price. I'm seeing anything from 100 to 150. I mean, they offered 110 for Caicedo, so it's hiding somewhere. But yeah, intent. To your point, that's really all it is.
I mean, he's one of the most sought out youngsters in the game right now. He's that good. I mean, in terms of players coming out of Germany, it's really him and Musiala, right? Like those are the two that you think of right off the top of your head. Like, oh, this is the cream of the crop talent. And had his age and his profile, he really could set the league on fire. I hope he doesn't. But really, really impressive start to the window for a team that just came off winning the Prem. This isn't their MO. What are we gonna have to do?
We're gonna have to hope that they just get that heavy Bundesliga tax.
God, hit me with that Nkunku tax. That's
he's going to Tottenham.
Some teams get duty free, but hopefully they pile on the taxes.
Yeah, piles onto us. So we'll see. I think we'll probably sign someone from there.
You just bought two.
That wouldn't count on it.
I mean, you brought up what was his name? The striker, Ekitike.
Ekitike.
You can say Ugo. Might make it easier.
It's just the fact that they're willing to spend this much money this early in the window is crazy. There's only one other team that I've seen spend this type of money this early in any window over the last 3 years, and it's the team in blue. Let's segue. I'm tired of talking. We can't. This isn't a podcast where we talk about Liverpool. If you're a Liverpool fan, I'm sorry. Like it's just not. You got your chance.
Lads.
It's over.
Go walk alone.
Yeah, go walk alone. Grant, I'm thinking with the images you gave me, you can start talking about Delap and his Here We Go, and I'll just start putting the images in the background.
Yeah, that works. Nice. So yeah, I kind of downplayed this. I wouldn't say kind of. I fully downplayed this on our last video. I was wrong. I mean, once that first goal was conceded, I was fuming. The whole first half was horrible. And I was pissed that we weren't going to win the trophy. So it meant something to win the trophy. I think that's the name of the game. Regardless of the trophy, we won the trophy. Have that. I was glad he was at the after party. They didn't let him on the stage for his medal, but he got it. So that makes me happy. But yeah, really glad to end the season that way. And then less than 24 hours later, here we go, Liam Delap. Yeah, man, feels good. And then, I mean, I've said it a lot of times about the Chelsea fan base. I feel like a lot of the uprisings, if you will, they're self-inflicted. When I watched Delap play against us the first time we played Ipswich, I mean, it was just such a complete center forward performance. For 30 million, we talk about market opportunities all the time. In a perfect world, you qualify for the Champions League and you go sign the guaranteed striker, pay what you have to pay. I don't think that exists on the market right now. I mean, the only one I could think of, I mean, obviously there's Holland, Kane, whatever. Isak is the only one there's a slight chance, but I don't think he goes anywhere. So, I mean, 30 million for Delap, I have no problem with. I think it's a different profile to Jackson. a lot more physical in the box, more natural strikers movements and scoring those sort of strikers goals we talk about. I mean, even in the final yesterday, we saw Palmer put that ball in Jackson. It just hit him in the chest and went in. Like, you'll take the goal, but that's not his strength. And I think Delap can do that. His stats aren't very great, but again, look at the team he's playing for. I think if you watch the games, you see the talent there, and we have a pretty good hit record with stealing people from City under the age of 25, let's say, because Sterling. But I like the signing a lot. I'm seeing links to other strikers still, mainly Ekatike. Gyökeres whispers, but more loudly with Ekatike. That means Jackson's gone to me to sign an Ekatike / Gyökeres and Delap. Ekatike really similar profile to Jackson, just kind of more polished at this point, which you would expect. Jackson didn't really even start playing organized football until pretty late, relative to a lot of people in Europe. But it'd be sad to see him go, but at the same time, we'd probably make a lot of money. And like I was kind of texting you guys about before we started recording, these things happen where players who you think are going to be a big part just do not progress the way you think they will. They don't keep up with the rest of the team. We're going to be in the Champions League next year. We're going to be staying in that top 5 race, ideally competing towards the top and not thinking about slipping out of those spots. You can't have a guy like Jackson in the second half to be relied upon. It's just, you can't. For our aspirations, he's not keeping up. Kind of what happened with Smith Rowe at Arsenal. And again, he had injuries as well, but you always thought he'd be a big part of that. And he just never seemed to progress the way we kind of thought he would. So I really hope it's not the case, but I feel like that's what's happening with Jackson. That first half of the season, he looked amazing. These finishes in front of goal, he looked so comfortable, just improvising. And I thought if he could keep that up, we'd really be in business. But unfortunately, it was a purple patch. So we'll see. But either way, I do like this signing. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that it's negative, or we signed a championship striker. Well, the championship manager got us what we wanted. We wanted Champions League spots and a trophy. Delivered. Our fan base always cries about these young, unproven signings. But again, you have to look at what else is out there. And for me, I mean, I think this is the best value on the market at that position.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one target that's proven in the Premier League, that has seen the competition and is like not afraid to go out there and take them head on, whereas everyone else that you guys would bring in has to adapt to that.
Right.
But you guys are Chelsea, and your track record with strikers isn't the best. I think this
at
is
that
just
price range. It hits
a smart move. No, this is a smart move. I think I really like him. You guys know that, and I think Chelsea are
played with the manager.
The right move. He's played with the manager. He's played with your best player. There's a lot of positives out of this mood for you guys. I was hoping he wouldn't go to a rival team, but it happens. We couldn't give him a spot, so I'm hoping the best for him, but also the worst for you guys.
You'll take that sell-on clause.
Yeah, we'll take the 9 million and put it towards someone else.
Yeah, the 9. That's crazy. No, he's a good talent, man. For 30 mil, you guys have hit it on the nail. It's a great market opportunity. You have to take a swing on it. I don't know. I'm a little confused at it's honestly, I'm more confused on like what comes next, right? Like in my head, I almost kind of want to see you guys not go for an Ekatike or a Gyökeres at this point and just run with Jackson and Delap as the combo forward. But at the same time,
that depends on what else comes in, because we're not done, right?
Yeah.
I'm hearing whispers they want a statement signing at left wing. Mind you, that can very well end up being Garnacho, and I will be off this podcast for a month. Like that, you know what I mean? Like, statement signing, and it's Raheem Sterling on loan, like Arsenal we're talking about. Like, clubs waffle like that all the time. But if you go get, let's just say, a Rodrigo, I'd be a lot more content with just a Delap Jackson. But if you go bring in, let's say, a Bino Gittins, who's 21, maybe, first time playing top level in England, along with Delap and Jackson. See, I don't want to put all that pressure on these guys who really just aren't ready for that. They don't need that at this stage of their career. So I think it depends on what else we do. I think left wing is a priority, and I've seen at least one defender, maybe two, come in. That's really all I'm seeing for us. I don't think there's any business to be done in the midfield. Just need to focus on a few more outgoings. Sterling and Chilwell, top of the list. Kepa, I feel like he's easily gone. Nkunku links to Spurs already. He's got suitors still somehow. Yeah, so you got to still focus on that and do that because, as you know, if you just have these wastes of money every week, that starts to hinder you in the long run. You need to clear those out as soon as you can. So, still business to be done, but let's see what happens. I think we get at least one more guy in a uniform before Club World Cup.
My only concern. You go first, then I'll say my concern.
Yeah, mine's quick. Esteval, is he joining after the Club World Cup or before?
I think he is because I think Palmeiras is in the Club World Cup.
Yeah. I think I saw a little headline today, but I didn't.
He said goodbye. I think they played their
last.
Yeah,
it was his last home game. Goal and assist.
Yeah.
That kid is special, man.
Dangerous, spooky.
Yeah, Esteval Quenda the year after. Come on.
That's my only concern. This is a good market opportunity if he plays. This is a bad market opportunity. Okay, we say that. The 9 is not a position that you swap in and out all the time, especially not in Champions League. And that's my only concern with bringing in an Ekitike or a Gyökeres is like, if you're bagging goals as a 9, like you're going to be playing week in, week out in every competition. That's not a position that's demanding enough for there to be like rotation all the time. How many teams actually rotate their striker?
Well, I don't think many teams have the striker quality to rotate. I won't speak
but
on
you're
every
not
other
gonna...
team in that sense. I'll speak on us. The amount of times where Jackson's been out there, and again, you guys know I'm a big fan of Jackson. There's a lot of games where you're an hour in, like, okay, he's not doing anything today. Who are you going to bring on? Nkunku? No. So I think in that sense, given who his competition is, there's more than enough playing time for both of them. When one dips, the other gets more minutes, vice versa. I think they both push each other. I think those two are at a similar level in that sense. So to me, I'm not as worried. To your point now, if we bring in, let's say, an Ekitike who's going to cost close to 100 million, Gyökeres, who's a big name, he's 26, 27, close to his prime, that becomes an issue.
But I think okay. That's why my point on the Jackson and him pairing makes a lot of sense, and that's why I'd run with that.
And if we buy someone else,
game time. I'm assuming
for sure.
And
if we buy someone else, Jackson's definitely gone, or he becomes a left winger. But the manager said multiple times that's not an idea for him. So, yeah, I mean, we just got to wait and see. But we saw early the first half of the season, everyone's talking about with Chelsea, oh, the big squad. It makes so much sense now. But again, you can't fully rotate an 11 for Bayern Munich away. It's not Noah at home.
That's what I was going to say. The Conference League
it's a fair point. It's a fair point. 3 of them, that'd be a crowd. 3's a crowd.
I'm doing this 10 times regardless.
Gyökeres Delap, I'm fine with that. But again, I think Jackson Delap's the most natural sort of pairing in terms of age, profile, and really pushing each other.
That's where I'm getting at, because like I don't think you can have two. It's almost like having a 1A, 1B with Jackson and Delap in terms of where they're at in their stage of their career, compared to like if you bring in a Gyökeres or you bring in a guy like Ekitike that's going to cost you a ton of money, that's your 1, and then the other person becomes B or 2, and then I'm assuming that Delap didn't come to Chelsea with the idea of being a number 2. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense for his career. So I'm assuming something was promised in that sense. Maybe Ekitike because he's in a similar mold, but
yeah, it depends on what the player's priority is. I mean, we heard he wants to be close to home. We heard Champions League was a big deal. So it does depend. Obviously, I saw Maresca they talked, and that was a big part. So there's got to be some sort of comfort in knowing what you're walking into. But yeah, I'm sure he won't just say, I'm cool being a backup now, because he had options to play. Everton gave him a good project to be a stepping stool, essentially. But he wanted to go straight too. So fair play. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, I like him. Let's go over Cunha real quick, just because we're going to talk about United, and I'd rather just kind of get into City since you guys have more incomings. I don't want to get over the moon either way about Cunha. I mean, he's a great fit for the system. I'll talk a little bit more about players that I think play with edge compared to playing with ego. But I love the signing. I hope that it works out. I just can't get over the moon about any signing that United makes at this point, because it feels like it's just the way that it's gone. But United still got pull. That's what that told me. I mean,
Right.
he cost 62.5, but for one of the best talents in the Prem to come to United without any offering of European football is pretty crazy. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure Arsenal was knocking earlier in the winter. At least that's what the reports were. So, for him to
I
be
do
like, no, I
think
want to go to United, it's crazy.
I do think it was funny that we got the here we go, and then we heard, oh, they approached with their own terms, and Wolves were just like, no, and then United were like, fine, and they just paid it anyways. Yeah, I think he's a very good player on paper for the system. I think he can also play up top, do a job if you have continued struggles there. Attitude questions are the only thing I'd have, just considering the context of where the team is right now. It doesn't take much for guys to kind of crash out. He literally crashed out this year. But I mean, talent wise, there's no question. And he's also been at big clubs. He's been at Champions League clubs. So it's not going to be a lights are too bright sort of situation. He's gotten comfortable with the league. So I think on the field there shouldn't be any problems there. But to your point, it feels like there's just so much more to do that you can't just be like, oh yeah, we're good. Now we're in eighth. You know what I mean? It's not how it works. So we'll see. But again, positive. It's a good player coming in.
Good player, definitely. And I think in the context of like the other two players in similar positions that you're targeting, that's where it becomes bigger. If you get all three of them, there is a clear plan that we can all see, not just behind closed doors for them. Like Grant said, he's versatile. He can play in the 9, and I think we'll talk about it later, but both of those other guys could do a false 9 role or just play the 9. They're looking to replace everyone in the front, and if you can get all these Prem-proven guys,
I think you hit the nail on the head with
experiments. Yeah, like this is the big thing. You guys have been dipping into other European leagues, trying to bring in talent from there. Hasn't been working to the best, and now it's clear there's a game plan.
I mean, I think they missed so badly that this is where you're in this position now. Like it does happen, but it really is just unlucky to just keep missing. But I think I've seen a lot of Prem proven links, and people throw that around all the time. It's one of those new buzzwords. But I mean, realistically, Cunha, Mateta, and Buemo up front, that's pretty dangerous. That's a good little front three. So just to get you stable, right? I don't think Mateta wins you a Champions League, obviously, but you got to start somewhere, and you just have to be honest with yourself, know where you're at, and go from there. So just to get some guys where you know what job they're going to do, I think that's a great start.
It's the idea that this team will be able to hit the ground running immediately. Like there's not going to be an adjustment period for their play for most of the guys that are coming in. Like Cunha comes in and immediately understands at least the basics of the system, and he understands the physicality of the Prem. Right? So like right away United can kind of just get the ball rolling. I mean, because they're going to have to, or Amram's out. So, but good signing, but we'll see. We'll talk a little more about that later, but let's go into stuff. Who do you want to start with?
Mention Arsenal at all quick, or do we wait for that to?
We'll wait for that to develop more. Yeah.
What did they got? They got a whole bunch of
Sheshko link, but I think that's
whatever.
I think it's done, but yeah, we'll wait.
Overpriced. Okay.
Yeah, later.
Should you start from the back? Dude, there's so many. There's like 10 people.
Let's start with the big names. The ones that like are gonna garner a ton of attention.
Because you're targeting a 10, you're seeing that.
Yeah, the tens are the midfielders, I think, are the bigger names in this. Yeah. Even though we haven't had a left back in like 8 years. Let's just start with Cherokee because that's
okay.
When this happened, I told you guys, I was like, he's coming. It was kind of a joke, but here we are. There's links. Yeah. People talk about his attitude problems. Yeah, you don't have to hold. Yeah.
Yeah.
They talk about his attitude problems. It's the main thing with him. But if you look at all his stats, he's one of the best creative midfielders.
Just watch. You see it.
Creative players. Yeah. I test, and statistically, he's at the top. And there's this talk of his attitude. He's also 21 years old. A lot of young guys have attitudes. people want to say it's not a Pep signing, but I think that's indicative of where the squad's going. We're not doing this hold up play anymore. It seems like he's opting for this chaos. He's trying to get guys that will create chances, can get the ball into Holland, into our attacking players like Marmoush, rather than just this stagnant side-to-side football that we've been doing. It's been boring. We're not winning, so there's no reason to do it anymore. And I think if you look at Cherokee along with the other players in this this transfer window that we're looking at, it's clear. Kind of what
Mavericks.
you're saying about United. Yeah, there's a clear plan to go in that direction.
Yeah, and I questioned it. I think like maybe a few weeks ago with you when we were talking about it. But I'm starting to see the idea now. To your point, because we talked like how many different options tactically. What's their plan? Are they ditching wingers? What are we doing? But I think the chaos ball thing makes sense. And obviously, let's look at Arsenal. I think it's a perfect example. It's all about protecting the transition, so they just don't take any risks. But with, like Rodri, I think you can get away with more, and especially if you're, let's say, throw someone else next to him, a really physical profile. I don't know who that may be, but you very well might be able to get away with the so-called chaos ball while still being able to prevent too many transitions
Controlled
each game.
chaos. Yeah,
Exactly. It's a good way to put it. And especially, again, go look at who you have up top. I think if you create more chances, you'll probably score more goals. So I'm starting to see the vision there. Because a lot of the Cherokee non-truthers are saying, "Oh, Pep's going to kill him. He's going to ruin him." But if you're right about what kind of the next vision is, the next phase, I can absolutely see it working out. I mean, again, the talent's there, no question. 25 million. That works. What do you think, Don?
exactly.
Man.
Like, even if he doesn't work out, 30 million for him, it's basically paid off already because Divin
Mhm.
Obama is going to leave for 10 mil, and we got 9 mil for Delap. That's
Just keep
20
flipping
mil of the
academy
30
players.
right there. Yeah.
And that's why
So
you're
a
able to
10
spend so
mil,
much money.
exactly. A 10 mil spend for Cherokee is not a problem with me. If he doesn't pan out, we could flip him for more, if anything.
And I think that's important too to mention. Facundo is on here talking about how we operate in different worlds. And I understand his point. But if you look at a team like City's Business, to your point, you sell Divin, whatever his name is, you sell him for 10 million after taking him on I don't know how much you got him for last year, but you're just flipping guys, right?
150K or something free.
Yeah, exactly. So you got
Mil.
10
I think it
mil,
was a mil, actually.
pure
Yeah.
profit, right? That's the big word now that we've popularized. But City do this all the time. They've been doing it the past 5 years. Look at our team. Look at all the City guys in there. And I'm sure they got money from Leicester when Maresca left. So teams like this that operate so well on that side of the world, they're able to spend as much money as they want. They get away with it. It's a different story. We kind of cheat. It's legal cheating, but don't hate the player, hate the game is what I say. And also, City have people on incredibly low wages, and we now have a wage structure. There's another reason we're able to get rid of these guys.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm glad you
City's
brought
kind
up
of
the
thrown that up
wages.
the wages a little bit
City
recently.
have people on the craziest wage.
We
Like
have a
I
lot
always,
of low wages and
I
then some
know,
players that
A
are
lot of
on ridiculous
but like
wages, though.
Ederson, I
But
saw he's on like nothing.
Ederson
Like
was on a
he's
disrespectful wage
no, but a
before. He's
lot of
like
these
the
guys at
12th
City are on low
paid
wages.
goalkeeper in the
The
Prem. Oh,
youngsters are
yeah.
on nothing. You know what I mean? Like, but that's why you're able to sell players on instead of giving someone, let's say, a Kusanov, 150K a week. He's probably on like 20. You know what I mean? And that's why you're able to have more
Bonuses,
financial
yeah.
freedom than a team like Arsenal who have Jesus and Havertz as top earners. Sheshko's going to look at their salaries and be like, I kind of want to get close to that. We talked about that a little more last episode. I won't go too much into that one, but that's people don't look at the wages; they look at the transfer fees. But I honestly think the wages are more important long term. You can lose, you can
But
have a
yeah,
bad
so
transfer.
then the
It
squad
happens.
makeup,
But
for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Who's next?
What do you got?
I don't know why it's
Oh.
bad quality, but these two. This,
Yeah, Gibbs White. Gibbs White is, I feel like that's going to be done for sure. It's probably one of the more confident ones. We've talked about him, I think, plenty enough in the past episodes because this has been linked for a while, but it'll be nice to have this fearlessness right here. I don't think we need to go too much into him. TBH,
He
I
can
just
play.
really like this
Yeah.
image. Yeah, he can play. He's
Yeah.
been showing it for Nottingham, and they're kind of
Really good in the transitions, and then he in the England youth setup, they can play a more possession style, and he still has it. So there's no real questions there in terms of his game translating.
I think, yeah, and we need the legs. That's the main thing. He's a big
Yep.
guy that with legs that can run in the midfield, and do a job for us that we haven't had guys to do. The guys we're facing out: Gundo, Bernardo, KDB. Well, like their stamina's gone. Maybe not their stamina, but their aggression with the run.
Mhm.
That pop when they accelerate is gone. We need that back, and that's why we're bringing in him. We could talk about Reinders. We've also talked about
Yeah.
him recently too. So
So you think there is a clear out there in the
what?
middle, or just a clear out, like just in the
Just the
middle?
whole
I think
squad?
it's
Oh
more
yeah.
defense.
I
In
think there's a
defense for
clear
me.
out throughout the whole squad.
Yeah.
Like I think there's only
Ake and
5,
Stones.
6 names that are safe. I don't even know if Diaz is safe at this point.
I don't either.
So yeah, it'll be fun but spooky. I feel like I'm gonna have to say goodbye to a couple players that I didn't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what happens when you're
You already got
targeting
the
7
toughest one out the
transfers.
way.
Yeah, for real. But
Well,
yeah,
clear out's
looking at like a
been on the
Rodrigo.
card, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
I
what
mean,
Pep's
but
been implying. He keeps
did you
saying like he
expect
doesn't want a big squad, and you guys have like
Yeah,
a decently sized squad, especially because you
it's like
brought
26
in a bunch
now.
of people
Yeah,
and didn't let people out, and you're going to continue to buy players. So the only way to keep a small squad,
let's get rid of them. Yeah,
get rid of. Yeah,
I
so
just
Rodrigo would be
Ederson,
insane.
Stones, Ake,
Ortega.
at least one old guy, or
Both
Ortega. Sure.
keepers, yeah.
Yeah. So Ortega,
Yeah, we can count
Bernardo.
real
Let's
quick.
say
That's 5.
Bernardo's 5. Are we getting rid of
6.
Gundo?
Yeah.
Gundo.
6. Walker 7.
You say
I mean,
Grealish.
there's 8. That's 8. That's 8 off the top.
8 off
I'm
the
sure there's
top
a little
and
more.
more. There's more
Yeah.
coming.
Sure, there's guys we forgot about in the squad, like the Sergio Gomez's of the world. I know he's gone, but you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, who that?
Yeah. There's a lot of clear out, and I think most of the younger guys are safe. It's more so the older guys. So in the defense, we're gonna just see like the Ake, who's maybe gone. Yeah, Ake's probably gone. Stone's
He's
probably gone.
class, but you just can't rely on him. Same with Stones. It's the
Exactly,
same
both
story.
of them. Like they're
They're both
injury prone. I
fantastic
feel like
defenders.
Akanji will stay. Akanji will probably stay.
It's a good backup to have. Good squad player.
Hopefully Diaz, Gavardia will definitely stay. But
Is he
then
a
we're
center back?
planning, yeah, as a center back probably. But if we need to, he could play the left back.
Yeah,
Nori.
who you is that who you
Ait
want?
Nouri looks
Because like
pretty
Nico,
Yeah,
I know you
I've
like
really
him a
liked
lot.
Ait
But
Nori.
do you like Nico in the
Yeah.
midfield more? Or,
I don't know
you
what
know,
Nico's gonna be. Pep is
he just needs to be out there.
yeah, he can do whatever he wants. If he comes off the bench, I don't care. He's a young kid. Like
Yeah, right.
it's fine. As long
Take
as he
your
comes
time.
good one day, like whatever. But Ait Nori, just on what he can do going forward. You know, we talked about him before in the pod. He's very talented, and it's time that he's gotten a move. He's been linked with us for maybe 3 years now. I'm fine. I'm glad we're finally pulling the trigger. It seems like we'll get that one done. On the other side with Livermento, I'm a little less
Are you more
sure that
skeptical
we're
now
gonna
that
get
they
him.
kept Champions League?
Yeah, but in the sense that they want Grealish. If they really want Grealish, we can give them a Grealish and some cash
Oh,
for
okay.
Livermento.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd do that all
Give me
day.
this. I need my sell on clause.
yeah. I think most of the midfield makes sense. The fullbacks make sense. And like some of them have been linked for a while now, but the goalkeeping thing, like I'm not really sure what we're gonna do. It looks like Diogo Costa.
Yeah, he's
and it
been
looks
linked for
like
a few years
or
with a few big
John
moves.
Garcia.
Yeah,
You think that you guys take a
Espanyol,
stab
right?
at Trafford?
I mean, he was ours. I feel like if we wanted him, we would
So
get him
Newcastle
back.
really want him, I think.
Yeah, but if we wanted him, I
he's
think he'd come back.
English.
I don't think we
He's
want
in
him.
demand.
Yeah. I've also seen Trubin, like the Benfica guy. So
It's crazy.
You
there's a
never
lot
know.
of
They're
names,
crazy.
whole lot of names. But like I said, with all those names, it's very clear what we're trying to do. Trying to get rid of the old guys, bring in the legs, bring in the
Get
speed,
some hoopers in.
some hoopers, some guys that play with like creativity and flair that'll cause an upset and also have an output. Whereas Doku and Savino play with that fun, that love for the game, but they haven't been producing this year. I think these guys are more surefire guys that are going to perform. Reinders was one of the best midfielders in Serie A.
Is that link
Morgan
still
Gibbs
hot?
White. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. Yeah.
Fab hasn't tweeted about it 4 times a day, so I forgot.
Yeah,
but
that means that they haven't signed the contract yet.
Talks are
but
progressing.
He canceled
Crucial next steps to
vacation
follow in the
that
coming
would have
days.
been during the Club World Cup.
Ooh,
So I feel like that's pretty clear that he's gonna
canceled his
be joining
vacation.
us.
I like that.
Yeah. So that looks like it's gonna happen. He's a little more of an attacking minded 8. So I think Gibbs White will probably play that role next to Rodri if he does come in, when he does come in.
In the pivot? Well, he'll have freedom to.
It's
Yeah,
Rodri.
get forward.
It's whatever. Yeah.
I always forget.
Him or Nico G, depending who we gotta play. Like if we need to go to a double pivot, Nico G will probably slide in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cherokee, Foden, swapping
Forget about
around in
Roger
that.
every time. He's that good.
just raising.
It'll
the
be fun.
athletic
It's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, you can put a 10 next to him, he'll be fine.
Your guys' biggest issue was athleticism, and you went, all right, we're just
We're
going to
going to
identify
get-
some of the best athletes, and we're just going to go get them. And then you just added a couple of flair guys into that.
Athletes with
Yeah.
talent.
Yeah, I was
These
gonna
are
say
not,
that
like,
sounds
super
like
freak
it's not like-
specimens. They're
It sounds like the
decent
Arsenal approach.
athletes, but they also are very talented. And I think
Yeah.
that's the main thing. I think it's more so the vision with these guys. Cherokee, Randers, and Gibbs White know how to play a ball into someone. And with a target like Holland, I think hopefully that'll unlock all of them, and that'll unlock Holland, and we'll be goals flowing through again.
Yeah,
Boom.
probably.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Did we talk about Rodri coming back?
No, but I
In the
mean, I
last
just
pod?
mentioned like how important.
It was right. Wait, and maybe the one before that. No, did we record?
I feel like over the course of the pod, we've mentioned him enough times to that it should be understood how important he is and how much we value his presence in their team. But I mean, you won the fucking Ballon d'Or. You can mention it again if you want, Mila. If you want a little 30-second
It
minute
was just
runway.
a cool moment when he came back. It was really, really cool to see the reaction. Also, a tough day for the City fans because De Bruyne was leaving that day, so it was nice to have a little bit of positivity at the same time. But he's immense. He's immense for the team. He's everything for our midfield, and not only him playing and his impact there, but also just his impact on the development of our young guys in this midfield was going to be huge, I think. So, yeah, it's going to be great to have him back. Hopefully, he'll help Foden come back to form, hoping that an overlapping fullback in Livramento or whoever of that profile will also help Foden in that sense. So I think we're moving in a good direction. I'm expecting there to be some bumps in the road if we do get all these guys in terms of just figuring it all out. But it's Pep, so hopefully he can get something together within like the first 10 weeks, 12 weeks, get it all fixed up there, and then we're flowing in terms of other competitions as well as the Prem.
Yeah, I mean, you're addressing holes, which is what you didn't do last summer. And even in a season where over a course of 2 months you had relegation form, you finished third and in a final. So to your point, there's going to be an adjustment period. Because again, I don't think third really sums up your guys' performances this season, but It's what you earned, and now you're addressing those holes that you didn't last year. So there is going to be an adjustment period to your point, but I wouldn't put it past Pep to get that sorted out pretty quickly.
Yeah. And yeah, we're covering up the holes. I think Khaldoon's interview just dropped. That's
That shit was cold. Yeah, I can't lie.
You watched
Intent.
it?
Intent.
Oh, wait, I didn't watch it yet.
I saw some clips, but it was just intent.
Yeah.
It wasn't much waffle.
He
It was
does
just,
these every
hey,
year.
this is what we need to
Yeah.
get done. Right. Like he just has these
They're
recaps
class.
every year.
It's
Transparency.
a recap.
I think it's
Exactly.
fantastic. I think it's a
It's the-
fantastic
yeah.
thing. I had
They
no
do a
idea
great
about
job
it.
of interacting with us.
Yep. Hey, this is
and-
what we're
and
doing,
letting
guys.
us
Sorry,
see.
we
But
failed. We failed. That's
the main
what it
clip
was.
I've seen is him going, you know what? We messed up last year.
Yep.
We didn't sign anyone. We didn't do what it needed to be done to grow. And we're going to
Intent.
make sure that we fix that mistake immediately. And to do that in an interview that's going to go out to all of your fans, like Grant's saying, is intent. And that's exactly what we want to see. And
It's
apparently we're
accountability
going to
too.
get them all before the Club World Cup. And that's like how long?
They knew their season was over a few
2
months
weeks?
ago, and he pretty much
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, we've gotten our list of targets. We're gonna go get them now." No fucking around. Like again, it's also accountability is so important. He's putting it on himself. He doesn't even have to do that. We see a lot of people. I've never heard our sporting directors talk too much. They don't have too much accountability, but I think it's what winning teams do.
Takes
So yeah,
stones.
as a City fan, I'd be buzzing to see that. Like, oh, we want to
Yeah.
get back to where we belong. That's what it's about, man.
Alrighty. I mean, we got to talk about it, and I know that it's a sad thing for Mila, but Kevin De Bruyne played his last game in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And we're a Premier League podcast. We got to talk about one of the Premier League greats. I mean, this career, I mean, the stats
27
speak for
million.
itself, is absurd. I mean, he'll be in every conversation about greatest midfielder to every it'll probably be ever grace the sport, not even just Premier League.
I just saw a stat today. He's got 4 out of the top 10 most assist campaigns in the competition. It's absurd. Most of those guys are only on there once. He's on there 4 times. He's gonna have a statue outside. I don't know. I don't think it's really hit me yet. It'll probably hit me when I see him in that freaking Napoli jersey, banging in
Close enough
goals
colors.
with David every week, exactly. Or when he plays us in the Champions League, because that's totally going to happen. You know, he's scoring against us in the Champions League.
Oh yeah,
David hat trick, KDB, Hattie of assists. Yeah, he was phenomenal. He made everyone else better, and what an impact. He's impacted not even just our players, but multiple players, like a plethora of players throughout the league. People come to this league to play against him, to play with him. Yeah.
Yeah,
18
I think
titles.
Dylan.
It's right there. Like, that's also crazy.
Dylan made the
Like,
point perfectly. It's like he'll be in all-time 11s. Like this is the caliber of player he was. Thankfully, we got rid of him. But yeah, I mean, it's simple as that. And to your point, Mila, how it hasn't hit, it won't hit until you see your team playing and he's not there. I think that's when it hits. But yeah, statue fully deserved. Announce that right away.
yeah.
I hate when teams drag that out and they won't get. You know damn well he deserves a statue. Like there's no question. So yeah, happy to see him go as a rival. But yeah, the league will miss him.
yeah. There wasn't a single midfielder I think I've ever watched that has struck as much fear in me as a fan as Kevin De Bruyne. Magician with the ball, both with and without it. Honestly, like he'll beat you with. He didn't have any athletic traits where it was like that's the best athlete I've ever seen. But you put the ball at his
ran
feet.
with power before the hamstring went.
I mean, I can imagine. I can see all the crosses that just went over the backline's head and then just are headed in by Holland over the last like 2-3 seasons, and he's fallen. It's not even a fall off, but he's come down with grace, and I'm happy he's not ending up in the MLS yet. I think he's still got a couple of years playing in Italy,
especially in
where
Italy,
he can be top. top because I think the game just flows
Under Conte.
from there.
That Napoli
Yeah.
team is
Top.
not joking at all. They are
No, they're serious.
doubling
Conte sticking
down.
around.
Same way we talked about Liverpool. They're trying to do the same thing in Italy, and they're going to go get Kevin De Bruyne, who clearly has a chip on his shoulder right now.
Yeah, man.
He'll
McTominay,
be top over
KDB,
there.
who would have thought?
People are going to be
KDB,
talking about
and
City
they-
shouldn't have got rid of him, but it's such a different league over there. But yeah,
We
he'll
have
still be
to-
top. He'll be top. And I agree, Mila. It's just time. It has to happen.
If we
It's
won the FA
unfortunate.
Cup, a lot more people would be okay with him leaving. It's just sad
Yeah.
that the way he went out, but
Mhm.
shit, it happens sometimes. People
It
don't
does.
get the fairy tale ending that they wanted, and
Yep.
it'll be okay. He's gonna see
It'll be
us
just
again
fine.
in the stadium. Yeah, it'll just be in a different color blue.
Yo, they will be. in
Actually,
different
they'll be
colors,
wearing their away jerseys.
Maybe
yeah,
we'll
those-
wear it their
those
way,
ones.
just so we could see him in blue
Just so
again.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Did you want to say anything else on City, or do you want to move to United?
Dude, I don't think. I don't. One other.
They'll have
guy
another
was
signing by
linked.
next week.
The MVP of the Belgian league is linked to us. He's a DM.
Who would that be?
It's Arden Jashari.
Nice.
They have an MVP.
Or like a player of the
Lavia.
season type of thing, you know. Yeah. So
How old?
that guy, like 23, maybe.
Understood.
I haven't heard much about him. I just saw a little report
Food
today
for
and
thought.
that caught my eye. I mean, it did. Yeah, it is food for thought. We have Nico G. What was the point?
Yeah, I can't imagine stacking midfielders like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Couldn't be anyone else's
What
club.
team would do that?
It's disgraceful.
All right.
Yeah, United.
Stupid.
Where to go? I mean, we touched on it a little bit in the other video, but worst season in 50 years. If there was ever a finishing blow, that was it. The season has been the knockout punch that probably has needed to happen for United for the better part of 10 years. It's confusing as a fan because it's hard to be optimistic, but it's also just tough because I don't know where the avenues for success are, because it just feels like everything that they touch turns and tarnishes. It's just
It's the
not,
opposite of
it's,
the Midas.
yeah, it's volatile. Everything's volatile. The
Poo-poo
club
touch.
is volatile. I think that
Cheese
they have,
touch.
no, it is like AIDS cheese touch. It has too many
Oh god.
weird
No,
words.
poop touch.
Poop touch.
All right. Keep going.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where they go. I feel like we have decent people in positions here to get us back up to the top, but there's so many question marks surrounding everything. The clubs, there's financial implications that I don't know the extents of. But then at the same time, they just spent 62 odd million on a player.
Release
so, like,
clause.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Not
like
even
I mean,
yeah.
you guys got to be worried more about just the plan that they got. And like we were saying a little earlier, like clearly they want guys that have played in the Prem before. And not just the three that we mentioned. Like you guys are also linked with Nelson Semedo. I know he's not the best.
Free, probably.
Yeah, cheap at least at the most. But he's played in the Prem for a while now. He understands this league. He's played in the system somewhat. Like he can get an understanding of the system. I would be surprised to see you guys go for many players outside of the Prem. You clearly wanted to lap for possibly the same reason, but yeah,
that's the only position I think that if we are going to get someone from outside the league, it'll be the 9. Outside of that,
I think you
agree.
one of these big name 9s might get. It's a game of musical chairs in my eyes.
basically, yep.
And
Yep.
Delap was always going to be the first domino. It's a 30 million release clause. He just had to make a decision. Once that domino goes, we talked about it a little bit, but Sheshko and Arsenal, I personally think that's going to get done. Ekatike probably goes to Liverpool if we're just playing the numbers game. Where's Osimhen? Where's Gyökeres? Like, there's good. You very well might end up with one of them at United because
Just crazy.
United find a way to throw wages at them. Again, we don't know what their finances are like, but they still are spending money. You very well might end up with one of those top nines on these lists. So that's interesting. But to your point, it's going to have to be a lot of wait and see because it's going to be mainly speculation. And given where you guys are at right now, it's going to be a lot of negative. So
Yeah.
we really don't know too much until we start seeing some signings. That first window last summer is different with Ten Hag being the manager. But again, I'd say that wasn't the best window they could have had. But you also made the point. You made the good point.
I think it's not bad.
It isn't even that relevant because I think you made a more relevant point that it's papered over cracks. We've been doing that for a decade almost.
Yeah.
So this is that, to your point, final blow in the coffin. Even the past 2 years, United have been banter, but trophies each time. Like, it's DNA of the club. But at a certain point, your luck runs out and you have to look in the mirror. This is what you are. You got to be honest with it and just build from there. I would have doubts in my eyes. I don't trust those guys up top as much, just given some of the decisions I've been seeing. I know they kind of put a super team of executives together, if you will, to kind of get this rebuild going, get everything organized. I just think Ratcliffe's history with clubs, he hasn't really gotten them too far or over the line. And I mean, there's obviously a lot of different reasons, but this is probably the worst possible way it could have went. Like the Doctor Strange 4 million outcomes. This is one of the worst, if not the worst. So we'll see. I have my questions, but again, that's also all speculation. That's just me thinking, what's going to happen here? What's going to happen? Who knows? I'm just not very optimistic that they target the right guys, get all that business done. I could be very wrong. They can get a lot of guys done this window and really get this rebuild going. We will see. But to what I mentioned earlier with kind of wages and all that, United have had some trouble getting rid of some guys on big wages. Guys are leaving on freeze, which is good. That opens up some spending money for sure. But we'll see. I was texting Mila a bit last week saying, like, I think they're done. I might have been a victim of the moment. I was thinking, like, there's no way out of this. I still think it is going to take some time. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a bumpy road, but there's definitely a way back. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, but United's pull, it's still United. I think Cunha, again, he was at Wolves, so there's that, but he's been at big clubs before. I'm sure he could have gotten another move to a team in Europe if he wanted it. It's United. So he went to United. So you still have that in the bank. That's one thing you can rely on. I think the Lakers were kind of in a similar position where they were really bad for almost half a decade. LeBron, I'm going to go to the Lakers because they're the Lakers. It's a different sport. They work in different ways, but I think that's a fair parallel.
Yeah, you can't underestimate a market. United are the second most valuable team in the entire world. Not even just soccer. Like, it's the second most valuable brand in the entire world in sports. And so there's always going to be players that want to come. It's just, and let's just touch on the Bruno stuff, because honestly, the links haven't gone away completely. I thought they would by today, because there was like a 72-hour threshold thing.
His agent's in Saudi.
Like, for me, getting rid of a guy like Bruno, and yes, $100 million for United in terms of finances would probably save them. It'd be great. Yeah. Does anybody on planet Earth trust the idea that United are going to get in players? No.
That's what that was what I was saying.
$100 million in players, like $100 million, United double that on Antony and Højlund.
Right.
And
you give them big wages too. You give them huge wages.
Do I trust United to do the smart business there? No, I don't. And that's why Bruno has to stay. He has to stay. And also, from a chance creation thing, I think there's been this idea that United haven't been creating enough chances over the last few seasons. That's just crap. They just haven't had a good enough forward line for it to make sense. Bruno has led the league in chances created every single season since he's been with the club.
Yeah, he's a high volume guy, and that's not a dig at him, but like, you would imagine a player of his caliber would be creating all those chances. So yeah, absolutely.
So The striker thing is such a mystery to me. I think you're right. I'm honestly starting to lean towards the idea that we're gonna end up with Osimhen or Gyökeres just because I think they're running out of options. And
More
United gives them
Osimhen,
a
but yeah.
chance.
Osimhen for sure.
Either of them, because they just don't have the options. They're coming from leagues that aren't at the very top of the sport. And when those options are going to narrow down and nobody wants to pay, it's because it's going to be 50, 60 million for a 26-year-old, which honestly is crazy. I honestly don't care. Like, they have proven track records. But one of them, I think, ends up at United. And then you're looking at Cunha, one of those 2 9s. And then either you get like an Embuemo, which I honestly don't think that's going to happen. I just don't believe it.
I think Newcastle are going
I
after
think
him.
Newcastle
They need
get
a
him.
left-footed attacker so badly.
And it fits. He gets Champions League. It's the right move for him. But then either you have Ahmad, who is your right-sided cam, Bruno can be your right-sided cam, and then you just flip where your need goes. And I think it's a good place for United to be at in terms of like you can kind of figure it out. Like, but if you get Cunha plus one more, I'd feel a lot better. And it's just buying goals. United can't score goals. So you just got one of the top, I think it's like top 5 non-penalty goal players in the Prem this year. And then if you add in Osimhen's had like plus 20 goals in like 4 out of the last 5 seasons. That's what he does. And if I saw the link today that it would be 33 million plus Højlund for Osimhen, you send that fucker all the way to Napoli. You drive him there. You drive him past the sea to Napoli.
If that's real, if that happens, that legitimately puts you 2 years ahead of your timeline. Like, that makes the Luka trade look like a fantastic piece of business from Nico Harrison. That would be unbelievable. And it's crazy because Højlund it's so weird because he would be probably good there. He'd probably do them a job. And they need to get rid of Osimhen anyways. He's on insane fucking money over there. They need to get rid of him.
It might make the most sense for both clubs.
Yeah, but just from a United perspective, it's just robbery. It is a complete robbery. But for them, they're also getting they end up getting a good deal out of it too. So it ends up working itself out. But that would be unbelievable if they pulled that off. I think you probably need United Trey to come in and bring Osimhen in.
Yeah, at least I know where the leaks will be coming from.
As soon as I saw him tweeting at him, I was like, "Yeah, I'm off this one. I don't want Osimhen anymore." Get this shit away. Oh no.
This is Osimhen and Cunha are a perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about last with United before we talk about the Champions League final, which is this shit. We didn't get to talk about it. I left it for this video because I thought it was important for all 3 of us to talk about it. I saved this thought because I've had it for a little bit. There's a difference between playing with edge and playing with ego. Garnacho is the perfect example of someone who plays with ego. The game is no longer about his team, and it's no longer playing with fight and energy and spirit. It's about playing for himself. He, in his own mind, thinks he's bigger than the badge. He thinks he's bigger than the manager. He thinks he's bigger than his teammates. This is appalling. This statement that he put out, and I deleted X right after the game because I knew that something like this was going to happen. I just didn't want to see it at the time. Fair. Who in their right mind comes out after a final where it's been your worst season ever and goes, I only played 20 minutes. So it's not my fault, really. It was a shit season. I had nothing. What it sounds like is he's like, I didn't have anything to do with this. I should have played more. We would have won if I played. Fucking
he thinks he's Ronaldo.
Yeah, he literally thinks he's Ronaldo.
That's always been the issue.
He scored a Puskas and he hit the
He thinks he's Ronaldo.
He's not that talented. I think he's got talent.
He's a good prospect. Yeah. He's a good prospect. He's not Yamal.
He doesn't have. He's not. He doesn't have the resume to back this up, especially this.
No,
it's a good young prospect, and I think nothing more.
He only missed 2 games. Like, he was benched for 2 games where he didn't play. That's how much he played. That's how much influence he had on this United team this season. And we finished closer to relegation than we did to top 5. And we lost in a final. And we lost in all the other competitions. So by that standard, you're trash. Just like the rest of the trash. You're terrible.
Yeah, you're part of the pile. I just hope we don't end up with him. I'd be fucking
I hope you do.
furious.
He might end up good for you guys. He might end up good wherever he goes, but he's not a team player. And I don't
No,
think
I don't
there's
want it anywhere
success,
near my team.
especially in a rebuild, for a player like this. And like the difference between Acuna and what we were talking about with his outbursts, and I know that's like the biggest question mark with
Yeah,
him.
right.
Acuna did that because he was angry at the fact that they were losing games. He was visibly upset with the way that they were performing. It was a team-related anger, and they lost their shit because they were going through like the roughest patch that he had when he was there. Because quality, he knows that the quality and the level of himself, and the people that are around him. And honestly, since he did that, it turned around their season.
It did.
And that's a spark. That's playing with edge. That's what Osimhen does. He plays with like a confidence and aura, but it's not ego. He doesn't think that he's better than the people that are around him. It's okay to think that you're better than other people that you're playing in front of. I actually prefer that. I think that there's been countless players that have done that. But the amount of can you name? I think there's only like 2 players that I can honestly name that played with ego and were all like really fucking good. The rest of them, you don't remember them. It's Ronaldo and Ibra. Those are the only 2 players that I've ever watched that had played with ego and were so fucking good it didn't matter. All the other guys I couldn't remember because it didn't matter. They didn't win anything. And to Ibra's point, like he really didn't win anything.
Yeah,
So
I mean, Yamal's gonna get there soon. He's arrogant, but again, he can back his chat. He can say whatever he wants. That's a child talking to grown men. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do all this, and he does.
I don't even know if it's ego. He doesn't really say much. He's just He's just a kid in
No,
like
he
a
does.
world where
He does though. But yeah, he's a kid. To your point, because he
he's
talks
on
his
social
shit,
media.
But yeah, he's a kid. Yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah, he backs it. Not like this
he
twat.
He can say whatever he wants. Yeah, I can't believe that. And did you see the clip today where Amarim started laughing at the presser?
Yeah.
First off, why are they asking Ahmad about his teammates' future? That's ridiculous.
I'm assuming that's why he was laughing. It's just at the ridiculousness.
It also looked like he was looking at his phone. So maybe someone sent something funny in the chat, but I don't know. I'd really like to think that he was like, oh, he thinks Garnacho's staying, but surely he wouldn't do that. Did you hear the quote too from what he said in the locker room apparently, where it's like, oh, you better pray you find a new team?
I honestly think
it's kind of crazy that gets out, in my opinion, but at the same time, he's not wrong in my head.
It got out because the guy leaked it.
Roberto,
the guy who's leaving leaked it. It's with his crazy brother. There's been one constant leak.
That kid, him too.
And they're gone. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is for United, and we talked about it a little bit with Cherokee earlier, like in a couple of previous pods. Like, I don't know how a guy like Cherokee gets that rep and a guy like Garnacho does not. How does that happen?
You guys are singing his name, bro. What?
How does that happen?
Why do the match-going fans rate him? What's that? Because I would
hate
this guy. Yeah, like they were singing Viva Garnacho the last day of the season.
Yeah, because he's.
Why does he have the support?
He's exciting and he produces moments. Which is like in football, I guess that's all you want. United has been so bad that like he's just always on the front foot, so he produces the most moments. But he's not that good.
It's something. Yeah.
Look, when you're comparing him to Højlund, it's like, congrats.
2 cheeks of the same ass.
And United fans are that's the thing about United fans is they're always going to back their players pretty much to a fault. It'll happen. Like Twitter fans compared to the match-going fans are just two very
totally different. It's a different world. Twitter's not a real place. Yeah.
And yeah, so that's really what it comes down to me for me is the match-going fans want to see the best out of the team. That's what I got.
They're just motivating them.
Like even like when I went to the game and they were down 3-0, it was more about just like rooting for the people in front of you because ultimately that's all you can do.
Right.
And so that's the one thing that United has going for him is I think that the manager understands what's at stakes and the fans understand the stakes. I'm assuming Ratcliffe understands the stakes. I just don't know if he has the money to back up what he needs to do financially. And that's why the Qatari guy, if he had bought it, United would be in a lot better place because they'd be out of debt. But this is the ceiling, right? Because so long as
glad that didn't happen.
So long as those fucking lizards own the club, that's as far as United's gonna get. And until they leave,
I don't think Ratcliffe's much better. I don't think he's much better. Time will tell. Obviously,
he's a fan. No, he might.
I agree. So that's something. Lampard was a fan. He was a horrible caretaker the second time around. You know what I mean? So there's only
manager and owner is so different.
Fully.
Look, he's been transparent. He's done more media appearances and done stuff in public face.
It's a
for
step
the club.
above.
The reason that
Sure.
it's so public is because he's been transparent and upfront about it, compared to like the Glazers who've been running the club since, with Sir Alex Ferguson, and
Right.
they
Just hiding
literally
and
in
let
taking
the
their
shadows.
payments.
to let like I was saying, the second most valuable team in sport crumble to this point as an ownership
It's
group
insane.
is disgusting. And it took them this long to let somebody else in, and he had to go into debt because he didn't realize how much debt they were putting the club in.
Yep.
So it's a
The debt's
disaster.
a good
And
point.
so,
The debt lingers with you. Roman paid it off before selling us. So I mean, I think that gave us a platform to just kind of start spending right away, even though we weren't in Europe.
yep.
But yeah, there's a long way to go on that side of things, and we only know so much. But it's one step at a time. It's gonna suck for probably a few years, but if it's done correctly, you can definitely get back to a good spot competing again.
They can right a lot
Oh,
of wrongs
I-
depending on how they get here, what they do in this
Yeah.
summer. Because if they
Yeah.
approach this summer right, and we'll know more over the next couple weeks, I'll feel a lot more confident. I'm just not confident that people want to play for United right now. But
I'm
if they
not as
can
worried
get,
about that. But
I
yeah,
think you guys are fine with that. I think you got to get rid of the bad apples. That's clearly been done out in the open, made for everyone to
hang
see.
them out to dry.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like, even though I know the fan base for the most part likes Rashford, he was one of those that was a polarizing figure in the squad, and they got rid of him.
yep, he clearly didn't want to be there anymore.
It's probably
Yeah.
a wages thing. I mean, we hear it a lot, but it looked like they tried to
No,
freeze
no,
out
bro. He was
Casemiro,
going-
but he's quality, so they ended up getting him back in the team. But like a Sancho, which again, that situation was also expired. It was
Exactly,
time to
getting rid of the
move
bad
on.
apples.
But it's a challenge when they're on such high wages. Same thing with Anthony. Sancho, we want to keep him apparently, but we never agreed personal terms. So it's already out there. He has to fit into the structure or we're sending him back. So I think
I
we'll
mean, for
probably end up working
United,
something out on that front. But for future, you can't keep slapping these crazy wages on guys.
they might have to, though, because I don't know if anyone's going to come play for United unless they do.
Incentive.
Well, then
Yep.
you really have to get those targets right, and
gotta get it right.
that's where I have the most reservations. So to your point, though, we'll see. We will see what happens.
It's either going to be
It's a-
that, or you guys are going to have to put in clauses into these guys' contracts saying, like, if
Like
we do
tiered
not make
wages.
this
That's
The
what we
wages
did.
for
a
all the players are
competition,
gonna drop
then
a lot. Yeah,
That's our whole structure. That's what
I'm
it's
pretty
built
sure
on.
I'm pretty sure
it's
that's
tiered.
most contracts are based off of where they finish in the league.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Oh,
I
of
think
course,
ours are
yeah.
just like
money of the,
ours are
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
Like
significant.
United's
Like I
will-
think it was.
but I think you're going to have significant, like maybe even the opposite. I feel like most of them are like, if you make this, you will
Then
get
you
paid
get
this
this.
amount of money, but more so as a safety net. If we do not perform, maybe
Yeah.
release clause is super low or something, like a 10 mil release clause for a
Have
$50 million
contingencies.
player. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's going to be ways to get them to come in, but you're going to have to offer them
Get creative.
like control with their career. Whereas before you could just be like, you know what, we're United, we're going to hold on to you. And when we want to get rid of you, we'll get rid of you.
To be fair, the guys that they put in place now have come from other teams that have done that style of structure. So hopefully that's what they're implementing. I don't know what Cunha is going to be on. I don't trust any source that's out in the media because I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Because every time I look at the wage bill stuff, it always puts United at the very top, and then there's always 2 or 3 teams that have more wages than them. And I'm like, I don't understand. So
They're up there though.
yeah, they're up there, but it's not like it's always like
Who
oh,
actually knows? It's speculation.
every single
all
player
that,
on United, if you didn't actually know, there wasn't actually any proof, you'd just assume that every player is on 300 plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna find
You know what I
some.
mean?
I'll find some. I'm gonna look into that so we can actually kind of understand it because we've gotten that accusation the past few years. Oh, he joined for
And
the
you're
money.
not-
He joined for money. These guys are
and-
making 80 grand. Like we
I was gonna
signed
say
Caicedo
Palmer-
and Palmer on 80 grand. We gave him a bump
Yeah.
to 130, and now he gets a raise because we're in the Champions League. So
What'd you pay him in the bonus? Signing bonus.
I don't know.
It's all accounting, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, let's get this. Let's get this going. I got a few more minutes.
Yes. Okay. Champions League final, where we made it to the end of the season, the last possible game before Club World Cup. This game either is going to be electric or it's going to be like that City Inter game a couple of years ago where it was super boring because Inter just set up shop and try to just play for a 1-0. Not really sure how it's going to go. but they match up really well. Like this is a very
They
back and
match up
forth.
really well.
Styles make
It
fights.
could also be
and,
just a
yeah.
goalie masterclass on both sides.
Two really good shot stoppers, but yeah, I think styles make fights, and it's a great one. PSG will probably have 70% of the ball, and every time Inter break, it'll be a threat. They rotated like 7 guys. Final game in the league, which decided the title, which I thought was kind of crazy. Again, I don't follow too closely, so it's harder for me to speak on. But this is their second time in 3 years being in here. Inter being here is not a fluke. PSG, same thing. They beat a lot of tough teams. I'm really excited for this game. To your point, though, I have no idea how it's going to go.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think that Inter had the offensive power to go out and compete with like a bunch of teams, and then they went and they took it to Barca both games. They just kind of fell flat in the middle portions, and then they ramped it up at the end of both games. So it's like Inter's just this wild card. I know what I'm getting from PSG. They are mostly possession based. They play very direct, and then their wing backs bomb up, and it's all offense all the time. It's full throttle. It enters this like they kind of just morph to whatever they need to for any specific game. So it's almost like a bull versus what's the bull person? The
Don't know.
The
Matador.
No, that is a bull.
Yeah,
Matador
yeah.
is the bull.
Is it the
Pretty
bull?
sure that is a bull.
The person that
Toria's
holds the red
nickname,
thing,
no?
though. That's what I think of this is like it's either they'll have the red cape and they'll be waving it around and they'll totally fool PSG, or PSG
is
will
the
run
bull
them
fighter.
straight through with their horns and kill them. That's how I see this game going.
It is a Matador. Good job, Mila.
Thanks, guys.
That is good work.
Yeah, of course, man.
It's
It's going to be a good watch. I'm just glad it's going to be 2 enjoyable teams to watch. Stress free as a neutral. Just enjoy it.
I don't really
I'm
have
excited to
anything
watch.
more to say on it other than
The
It'll
Inter
be
don't
fun.
have Lukaku this time. That's an advantage.
that is an
He
advantage.
played for City in that game.
Yeah,
That
'cause
was
he's Lukaku.
unbelievable.
That's what he does,
That
man.
cameo was unreal. But yeah, I guess I'll get my prediction in.
Yes, and a star player.
I'm gonna go 3-2 Inter. And I think Bastoni is going to have a big game. I think he'll end up chipping in either a goal or an assist. He's all over the place as a left center back, but he's quality.
Star player and prediction for PSG Inter. I'll go Nuno Mensch. Because he's been
great.
electric. And honestly, because they play those specialized wing backs for Inter, like if he's able to pin them back, I think that just changes the complexity of how they can spring forward, and it'll force them to play similar to how they did against City a couple years ago, and it'll be one-way traffic for the most part. And then I'll go with, off the back of that, I'll go with PSG to win 2-1.
Dumfries has looked very good in these Champions League recent games. Champions League recent games.
Champions League.
Yeah, so he's going to be my player of the match. I think going forward, he's been good. Defending, he's been pretty good. So just impact for that Inter team. I think 1-1 is what I'm going to say, and it goes to pens. And then I think the goalies and Dumfries are going to have a game. Is basically it.
He's winning the shootout.
I don't know, dude.
Whatever keeper
I'm
has
gonna
the
go
Are you
better
going to bet against
advantage.
Donnarumma
Inter.
in pens?
I think I'm going with Inter, bro.
You are outnumbered, Dylan. You lose.
I'm going with Inter. They were
Yeah.
just there a couple years ago. They want to actually go through with it and win it. PSG, I guess, have also been close, but this is a different team, a new team,
Totally different.
fresh blood. So
Phase 2, Enrique.
I'm gonna go
I
with
am shocked.
Inter.
I'm shocked that you didn't go with PSG just for the Mbappe hate of it.
Oh, I would love it. You know, I would love.
It's reverse jinx, Dylan.
But
Sorry,
Inter, I do think Inter from just a footy perspective. I think,
And they
Inter-
lost their league. This is all they got to salvage the season.
Touche.
PSG
And
and
then
won a
their manager
domestic
league.
treble again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I hope it's a good game. We all hope it's a good game. We all got to get out of here, but anything else you guys want to talk about? Are we good?
No, I gotta go.
Alrighty. Well, from the three of us, we have been Clash of Clubs. This has been episode 43, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Two words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal! Wreathed in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent! Potentially life-changing! That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.